Welcome to Rouhani Talks. I'm joined by Don Gino Chaka-Runa, and today we're going to get into what is actually an ayahuasca ceremony. What happens in ayahuasca ceremony? What are the different stages? And I know in the last video, Gino mentioned there are different traditions of doing ceremonies, but today we will specifically talk about how he facilitates his ceremony, and we'll see what happens. So welcome, Gino, and let's dive into that question.
Hello, Faisal again. Hello, everybody. Okay, that's a long answer, but we'll try to make it short.
Let's do it.
So, ceremonies, you never know what will happen in the ceremony. First of all, when I go in a ceremony, I try to go open, empty, and connected with whatever is going to happen. But first, connected with the spirit of the divine, with a lot of respect. I usually go in my room before ceremonies and kneel down, pray to the mother to guide me, to have a mild one. Not easy to ask that, but I do. And whatever comes, I am open to follow the instructions that I'm given. So then I meet the people. I have to do an interview, first of all, one-to-one, to see what the people are bringing into the space. That is a very important part before a ceremony, because that gives me the tools to work on each person individually, and also prepares the person to create a bond of trust between the person and me. I ask very personal questions. Of course, there is freedom of answering or not, but I tell the people that that is only to give me tools to work during the ceremony. And opens the wounds. I put my finger in the wound, try to make it bleed, to open it. Many people cry only during the ceremony, before the ceremony. And that's exactly where the medicine wants them and me, because then they are totally ready, fresh, with an open wound, or pain, or sadness, or whatever is troubling them. And then we all gather in the space. In my approach, I have felt that people come tight and nervous, of course, fear still, even after the interview, because you never know what you're going to go through. And then I lighten up the people with a little medicine music, joyful music, and then we start. Before start, in my approach also I do around rapé, with the caros rapé, very quickly. The rapé will open up the person. Definitely cleansing is needed of the space. The shaman has to take position of the space, because I travel a lot and I go to places or venues I have never been before. Maybe other people have worked there. So I go alone, I pray, I call my allies, and take the domain of the space alone. I set my territory where I will make things happen. Because it's not about holding the space, but about creating the space for things to happen. Holding the space is just a little part of it. After taking domain of the space, then the people gather, and we do the cleansing of the space, of course, with Palo Santo. And we cleanse also each person individually with Palo Santo. Very important, this part, because in the Andean world, and also many cultures around the world, the spiritual world moves in the world of the scents, of the smells. If you go in a house, which is filthy, humid, dark, bad smells, dark energies out there for sure. You enter a house with beautiful smells, Palo Santo, flowers, fresh air, nice energies come there. That is why the Chinese, Indian, and many cultures bring good smells to the graves in their visits. Fruit, mirror, incense to calm and protect the spirit. So we do the same, and we cleanse the space. I clean the space of each person, not the person. The person itself has already been cleansed with Palo Santo. Then I go with the Mapacho and cleanse their space, and Agua Florida also, each one. And then I do a prayer. It's very important to have respect and humbleness. Many shamans just, and this is not talking bad about anybody, just describing, they just go and they don't even open or close. They just start pouring the brew. In this work, it's very, very important to connect with the spirit first, the little prayer, respect and humbleness. A ceremony can never be opened without calling your allies in the other side to be by your side during this whole ceremony. And opening means creating the space for the spirits to come during the ceremony. You always open, call, and close and send everything back. You don't do this, and things don't know where to go, because this is a spiritual realm. You open the door, you close the door, and send everything back. When you don't do these, certain energies stay there, and then people can get attachments. You blow everything back. Thank you so much. Back to your space. And then the ceremony itself is opened. As I said, it lasts more or less 4 hours. You pour the medicine one by one, depending, the doses is never the same for everybody. That depends mainly on the interview I have had with each person. I know more or less how much medicine. It's like a doctor. You cannot prescribe the same amount of pills to X or to Peter or to Anna, because they have different diseases. So the dosification is based on the interview and on how much medicine I think they can handle. And then, then pour in the medicine, people go back, and the journey starts. It's 4 hours journey, calling the spirits through the caros, calling the Mariación. After 45 minutes, more or less, 30 to 45 minutes, depends. Not any ceremony is different. I don't have a structure because sometimes I do this first or that later. It's not a line. Depends on the ceremony itself. And then it's waves. I create the first wave, really high. Then the second one is really, really the peak after 2 hours. 1.5 hours, 2 hours is a peak. And then we go a little down, then I bring people up again. It's like 3, 4 waves during the ceremony. So it's like guiding an orchestra. Then I bring everybody back. Of course, during the ceremony, many things happen. There is a process also with the Mapacho, the Chacapa, the Agua Florida, which I'll explain in another video because it's a little long. But mainly, the ceremony is about surrendering. I explain to people, I give the tips. Very important, this, I forgot, because before I start, I give tips of how to dive in. The shaman, as I explained, is the one who knows. Saman is the original word from Siberia, the Tungus tribe. So in this case, the shaman knows how to dive in the other realms. They know the path. They know what you can encounter. So I give little tips. If you go here, try to do this. You go there, don't scare, go this way. Ask these questions, face what comes to you. If there is darkness, go through, face the darkness. I try to understand what is the meaning of this demon or darkness that comes to you. There is always a message, there is always a vision that explains. A demon is just a representation that the mother uses to tell you there is something you have to face. It is not the demon itself, it's just a representation. So, of course, there is a lot of purging. People are healing the emotions, a lot of crying. Crying is a blessing. In ceremony, really golden tears. And then after, well, during the process, there is a mapacho blowing personally, one-to-one, in the crown, in the back, cleaning the mind, your heart, your hands. And that also creates a protection aura, but also helps you to dive in really deep, even calling the purge. I go around at one point also with a Nicaro for Agua Florida, putting into the hands of the people to cool down and then dive in again. At one point, there's also the Chacapa leaves, old tool, really, really powerful healer for the body and for the emotions, and it opens up. Really, when you feel the Chacapa, the leaves, it really takes you and opens the space, and you dive in deep. And after the 3 hours, more or less, 3.5 hours, I start bringing people back. Some instruments are played at the very end, and happy music for the heart. Then I go around to see how people are, looking in the eyes, how are you doing? Some people hug, it's okay. And then I close the ceremony. And that's it.
Awesome. That was a really fantastic explanation. And again, viewers, this is ceremony facilitated by Gino. Every shaman, like he said, does their thing differently, or every tradition is different. Some are shorter, some are longer. So that was pretty much the mechanical or logistical explanation of what happens in a ceremony. Now I'm really excited for the next question, and we're going to dive deep into what happens on a spiritual level, on a different dimensional level during the ayahuasca ceremony. So we will be back with the next question. Thank you very much again, Gino, for coming and explaining the structure of the ceremony. And viewers, if you have not watched other videos by Gino, there are a couple of links. Go click them and check them out, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, my friend, for watching.